It's the Monday Morning Show. Today is April 21st. So sober up. My name's Ken LaSalle, and your ears have not deceived you. I am, in fact, back from the Pacific Crest Trail. You can hear all about how and why over on my YouTube channel, which you can find by using my name or by typing World's Worst Backpacker in the search window. Rather than dwell on the reasons why I left the trail this year, today I'd like to talk about things I need to do better when I backpack in the future. 'Cause I won't lie to you, there's a lot. And I want to start with the biggies: eating and sleeping. Yes, two things we do every day, but for some reason, two things I just can't seem to do when I'm backpacking. On my first stretch this year from Scissors Crossing to Warner Springs, I prepared an Alpine Air meal that I only ate a few bites from. Granted, it sucked, but on my second stretch from Campo to Lake Marina, I didn't even prepare a meal. I tried eating snacks, but seriously, here's what I ate in 2 days. Saturday morning, I had oatmeal at Major's Coffee Shop in Pine Valley before driving to the terminus. And on the trail that day, I think I had 3 little snacks. On Sunday, I don't think I even ate that much, mostly because I wanted to throw up by noon. It's not like I don't want to eat. I just forget somehow. Find more important things to do. Basically, that part of my brain shuts off. And when I search the internet for ways to eat more while hiking, or even ways to eat at all, I'm not finding much. They say, eat more often, eat big meals, incorporate more calories into your meals, and none of these really address my core issue, which is not eating at all. So how can I fix this issue of not eating enough? Well, you're going to hear me repeat this answer more than once, but it is, very simply, I need to hike more. I need to get out there, and I need to practice eating more in hiking situations. Let me just say before I go any further that I have gotten better at this, in case you're wondering. With all the hiking I did in the last year, and I was out hiking probably every other week at the very least, I have found my confidence growing as well as my aptitude. Sure, I'm not at thru hiker status yet, and I may never be at thru hiker status. I've come to embrace the fact that I may only section hike the Pacific Crest Trail. There's no shame in that. I suppose that little by little, year after year, I will get better at this. And maybe by the time I reach 60, I'll be doing these things like eating and sleeping. And as a result, I'll be able to handle longer trips. But I've got to do something because, not eating? That's reason enough to stay home as far as I'm concerned. But that's not the end of it, because I also have the problem of not sleeping, which is just terrible. Last year, I didn't sleep for 2 nights before leaving on the PCT. I didn't sleep the night I was out there. So by the time I started heading home, I was on my 3rd night without sleep. These are not optimal hiking conditions, let me tell you. This year, I slept the night before I left, which made me feel pretty good about my chances for success on the trail. Unfortunately, I didn't sleep but a few hours between Saturday and Tuesday, and I stopped hiking on Sunday. Now, I've been reading a lot about mastering sleep science, sticking to a routine. God knows I don't overdose on caffeine when I hike. None of the tips I'm finding online really help me out. So again, I need to hike more. I need to get more comfortable with, well, with what? With being all alone, far from home, in a strange environment. Because I think subconsciously, the whole idea freaks me out. And that right there is 100% upbringing. My mom is a very frightened person, easily freaks out, and despite how much I wish this weren't the case, I am my mother's son. And I need to get past that. I have this idea of taking my sleeping mat on short hikes and getting into the habit of taking naps on the trail, just so I can start getting comfortable with the idea of sleep. Because my current situation does not spell a recipe for success. Let me tell you a quick story here. Tuesday morning after returning from the trail, it's 3 a.m. It's my third sleepless night, and I'm stumbling around my house, and I think I could use something to drink. I head to my fridge, open it up, and all at once I realize I need to eat. Damn the torpedoes, to hell with the nausea that has kept me from eating for days. I reach for a container of lunch meat in the fridge, grab the mustard, and just start shoveling ham and mustard into my mouth just as fast as I could get it there. I am ravenous. It's like I had never eaten before. Then, having gorged myself, I headed back to bed and fell asleep. Only 3 nights too late. Next year, I've got to get better. My first night on the trail, at least on this most recent trip, was on the side of a ridge overlooking Hauser Creek. And I'm lying there, trying to quiet my mind. And all I could think about is, well, everything else. I thought about my wife, and my dogs, and my mom, and my friends, and my brothers, and Vicky's family, and my neighbors, and my brain would not shut off. And the more I thought about others, the more I realized I desperately needed other people. And I was completely alone. And by some minor miracle, I realized that this mania going on in my brain, that was not only keeping me from sleep, but was also pretty seriously freaking me out. And this was all created by one simple fact. I don't do alone very well. And knowing this, realizing what was going on, I understood that my only real problem was just that. I don't do alone very well. Which was liberating in a way, knowing that this craving, this desperate desire for company, was all in my head. And I could deal with that. And I immediately felt a sense of calm come over me. Not enough to sleep, but hey, at least I wasn't freaking out, right? Still though, that is something I need to work on. I either need to get more comfortable being alone, or I need to find some hiking partners. In Orange County, California. Preferably someone with a similar worldview and attitude. And as a side note, I have noticed that people you meet on the trail tend to be more accepting and tolerant, with a wider worldview, a broader attention span, an understanding of reality. While the people I've met on various hiking message boards tend to be just the opposite. In summation, I suppose there are those who hike and those who talk about hiking. I guess that makes me something of a hybrid. But I know I need to get better at being alone. And this too, I will work on with, you guessed it, more hiking. You may have seen my training videos, and you may be saying to yourself, but you did lots of hikes. Shouldn't you have worked out these issues by now? Hell, folks, I'm 51. I should have worked out a lot of issues by now. Welcome to real life. I think my training hikes got me as far as they could get me. And I would never discourage someone from training like I did, especially if you live in an urban area and you share one car with your spouse. Those hikes were the best I could manage, and they put me in the physical shape I needed to be in to hike those sections of the PCT that I hiked. But here's the thing. I need to go further than that. So, this year, my plan is to move beyond the training hikes. The problem with the training hikes was that they were the same hike over and over. And I got used to those training hikes. They stopped being an unknown entity. After a while, they were just downright comfortable. And I need more than that. So this year, my plan is going to be to get out as much as I can and hike in new places, new areas. Overall, I'm going to try and stay fit, and I'll also be hiking. Because the only way I'm going to prepare myself for the unknown is to get myself out into the unknown. I need to get into the habit of embracing the unknown, living in it, and getting used to it until it's not even an issue that it's the unknown. So, that's my plan. Just a couple more notes about things that need to change, starting with my sleeping bag. As soon as I got home, Vicky told me she could fix my sleeping bag or take it somewhere to get fixed. Still waiting on that, but the important point is that as soon as that sleeping bag zipper broke, I was done. I just didn't know it yet. The temperature that first night was 30 degrees, and my sleeping bag was keeping none of that out. So I sealed up my tent, only to find that I was breathing in my own stink with no method of ventilation, because the air outside was freaking freezing. That isn't how I want to spend my nights. I thought I could bear it until I started to get nauseated, which is when I started thinking, who are you kidding? So I think I'm going to start looking for some backpacking trade shows in the LA area. I want to look at other options in tents. Maybe find something with a bit more space, because my tent feels like a coffin. And maybe I can find something with better ventilation so I don't end up smelling or breathing in my own smell all night. Bottom line though, the tent would probably have been fine if my sleeping bag zipper had not broke. Another thing I want, which will be fairly easy to find, is more light. I always see these super light little light sources you can hang off your pack. I see them every time I'm at REI. And I could have used more light when I was trying to fix my zipper, believe me. I also could have used a bit more light when I had to pee in the middle of the night. Not much, just something to help guide me back to my tent. It's a minor complaint, but one I know I can easily address. And so, that's it for me. My PCT experience for 2017 is over. My preparations for 2018 have begun. I guess we'll see what happens with that. Before I started writing this episode, I asked my wife, what one thing do I need to do to improve as a hiker? She said to me, rising above unexpected difficulties. Oh, is that all? Until next time, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and let's make this world a better place.